The Fox and the Forest is a fun little card game. I'm going to teach you how to play it in 10 minutes here today on Legendary Tactics. The Fox and the Forest is quite a simple game, especially if you've played any trick-taking games like euchre or bridge. It's not too dissimilar. There's a few interesting little twists, though, that make it a little more interesting than you might expect. And the app, the digital implementation here is really beautiful. There's lots of animations and detail, as you can see, just to keep it visually interesting and fun to play. So each player gets 13 cards, and the top card of the deck of the remaining cards becomes the decree. It's essentially the trump suit. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And if you've played any sort of trick-taking game, you know that one player leads, the other follows, and tries to follow suit as best they can, and then there's trump suits and so forth. So anyway, as the leader, the leader can play any card that they wish, and the storyteller plays the two the purple moon, and so I have to follow suit if I can, and so I'm gonna play the 4, and because the 4 is higher than 2, I will take the trick. And you'll see that light turn up on the little wheel here. And that's a way for us to count how many tricks have been taken. So the wheel is actually kind of useful because this game is kind of unique in that you can't take all the tricks. You can't dominate the hand too much. Otherwise, you actually lose points, or at least you don't score points for your trick taking. So you can see the first little band is yellow. So you need to let your opponent, or your opponent needs to let you get past that level. If your opponent finishes in the yellow, that means you have actually taken too many tricks and you're finishing in the red. Blue is where it's kind of undecided yet, and that second yellow band means you're in the sweet spot. That's going to give you the most victory points. So you want to take, somewhere between 7 and 9 tricks out of the 13. So that's kind of a bit of a unique way of doing it. Once the round ends, all the cards have been played, then you earn as many points as you took tricks, and there's a few other ways to score points as well. And if you do overdo it, if you do take, let's say, 11 tricks out of the 13, then your opponent scores 6 points, which is pretty significant. So now we won the last trick, so we'll lead now. Now we're going to take a look. The other interesting twist here is that some cards have special abilities. So, for example, the ones of every suit is a swan, and that means you will lose the next trick very likely. It is the lowest suit, unless the other player can't trump it and can't follow suit. But if they follow suit, you will lose the trick, but you get to lead the next trick, regardless of whether you actually won it or not. That's sometimes strategic, as I said, because you need to let your opponent win sometimes. And so playing a card like the Swan allows you to lose the trick, to give your opponent a trick, but you still continue to be the leader, and that's sometimes a good idea. The storyteller will take that trick. Now we'll take a look at the woodcutter. Now the woodcutter, when you play it, you draw a card, and then you can discard any card you like to the bottom of the deck. So when we play it, you'll see the 8 of the purple moons popped up. That's certainly better than the 2 of the key suit. So we're going to drop this into the black hole right there that just appeared. And we're going to let the storyteller take another trick. So it's 2-1, but that's fine. We want that to happen. Now we're out of the, I don't know what to call those cards, pagodas or whatever they are, orange honeypots, I'm not sure. Anyway, so since we can't follow suit, we can play any card. And normally if you play a card, it would lose automatically, except if it's a trump suit, which is whatever card is on the decree here. So you can see that there. So purple moons are the trump suit, and so we can play the swan, and that will win the the trick there, and that's perfect. Another card to pay attention to is the Monarch. And if you lead this, if your opponent has the same suit, they must play either the 1 or their highest of that suit. So usually it's best if you can pull out a very high card from their hand, but they can kind of get out of it if they have the 1. Then they can use the swan to get the lead back from you. So. But it's kind of a neat trick to play at the right timing. You can see the storyteller actually had the swan there. I took the trick, but I lost the ability to lead. So the next card up is the Witch, and the Witch is basically it's automatically a trump card unless unless there's another witch in the trick, in the hand or whatever, in the thing here. So you'll see, because it's the witch is the only 9 in the trick here, it's treated as a trump card and it beats any non-trump. So you can see, there we go. So we won that trick, even though technically it wasn't a trump, part of the trump suit. So now the foxes are great as well. The fox allows you to exchange the decree card with a card from your hand. So what's great about that is, let's say the purple moons are running out of steam here. We want to change our trump suit to something that suits our hand a little bit better. We can exchange the card from a new suit, and then that card becomes the trump suit. And in exchange, we get to pick up the card that's on the decree. So you see that's added to our hand. And so that works out really well. Now we have 4 left of the new trump suit, which is great. And as it turns out, the storyteller doesn't have any of the keys in hand, which is great. So that's how to play the game. I'm just going to zip through and finish this hand. It really doesn't take a long time to play. So we'll just follow this 9. Now there is another card though that I should tell you about, called the Treasure. And whoever takes a trick with a treasure in it gets an extra victory point at the end of the round. So I don't want to play this because that's the 9 is a very powerful card, obviously. So we'll let my opponent, the storyteller, take the trick. And if you'll notice now, my opponent is actually over the line, so it's now safe to win because it's impossible for me to go into the red zone on my dial there. So unfortunately, it leads with the storyteller leads with a Monarch, so I have to play my treasure card, unfortunately. So that's a good bonus for the storyteller there. But I've got 4 trump cards left here, so this is going to be fairly straightforward. I'll play this card just in case I get a better one, and actually it's not bad actually to get the witch, so I'll trade that in. The witch should be pretty safe there, so we'll just draw out any other trump cards that my opponent might have. Now that I know the trump suit is safe, I can lead with my treasure card, so I make sure that I conserve that extra point for me. And the witch transforms into the trump suit and wins me the treasure. So you can see I won 8 tricks, my opponent won 5. Because I landed in that zone, I ended up with 6 victory points, and I got 2 treasures. So that gave me 8 victory points for the round. My opponent got 2 tricks and 1 treasure, and so unfortunately only ended up with 3 victory points. So I'll just give you a quick look at the scoreboard here. So you can see if you take between 0 and 3 tricks, you get 6 points because you're very humble. You're still defeated between 4 and 6 tricks, but you can see you get between 1 and 3 points. If you take 7 and 9 tricks, that's a sweet spot. You get 6 points, you're victorious. But if you take between 10 and 13 into the red zone, you're greedy and you don't score any points from your trick taking. So that's just a quick glance at the scoreboard. Anyway, that's the game of The Fox in the Forest, and I hope you got a good sense of the digital implementation and how it works. I think they did a great job with it. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you would, and we'll see you here next time on Legendary Tactics.